Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons show. And going around the table, we have our players, starting with Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I play,
I don't know who that is.
We're so good at this.
I play Thaddeus, the human paladin of Asana.
I'm Kay. I play Harmony, who is the Tiefling Wild Magic Sorcerer.
And then Melissa, and I play Mara Stormwind, and she is a human pirate.
I play Mantle Ray, who's the pirate captain.
No, you
That's a
don't.
lie!
I'm Zach, and I play Hunter, who's a Warforged fighter ranger.
I play
Who has
Mantle Ray.
Ooh, I'm not reading it yet, though.
Let's see, we stream on Twitch every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and then post those episodes to YouTube the following Wednesday. Throughout our show, we use a variety of custom items and even a custom wild magic table. So be aware of that as you watch. Music that we play comes from either BattleBards, TabletopAudio.com, or Incompetech. Then, if you're watching us on Twitch, you can go ahead and check the channel page for links and info, specifically info about all the stuff I just mentioned, and more. And then if you're watching us on YouTube, you can check the video description for similar information. Then, you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter if you want. The information for which, is on the Twitch page and the YouTube page. And that is at Antiheroes Anon. So go ahead and follow us on there, and we can you'll be able to see information about when we're going live and some things like that. Other than that, enjoy the show, and we'll get right into a recap and start playing. That was actually pretty efficient for announcements.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, once we got started.
All right, so recap. The party stole back their gear from a group of fey creatures in the Feywild, and they had sort of a touch-and-go situation where they fled from a near difficult encounter, and then plane shifted back to Marblecleft Landing with Gavin Hammerlock's plane shift spell. And it was at that point that they parted ways with Gavin, Thaddeus' brother, Valerie, Gavin's mother, and Guy, just some old dude who was along for the ride.
Not just any
Scribe.
old dude.
Yeah.
Scribe.
A
He delivered
scribe.
the book that had the letter from
He was a very important,
Seal.
scared, upset person.
A very important messenger.
It was really fortunate that he forgot the entire events of the Feywild.
Yeah.
So let's see. Then they explored the town, or maybe perhaps city is a better word, of Marblecleft Landing, and they saw sort of like these freight elevators that bring people down to the bottom of the cliffs where the docks are. And they also saw that those cliffs were inhabited by harpies, but they managed to not fight any of those, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also saw a bunch of Warforged around the town, indicating that perhaps their longtime rivals, the Eyes of the World, were involved in the city to some extent. And then Mara and Thaddeus toured the docks and met one of the captains down there named Mantle Ray, and also found out where they can find some of the other captains in one of the local bars. And then Harmony and Hunter, meanwhile, looked for more evidence of the Eyes of the World within the city, and managed to find some evidence of such in the tower in the very center of the city that belongs to the East Freyden Mercantile Corporation, which is a prominent trade corporation in the city.
I forgot that detail.
So that's where we left off. And I think we pick up with Harmony and Hunter, who are sort of standing outside the East Freyden Mercantile Corporation tower, which, if you'll recall, is several stories tall and has, at the very top, a symbol carved into it, which is the symbol of the East Freyden Mercantile Corporation. And it's a circular symbol with waves, and then it has a boat sitting on the waves. And then the boat is titled as if it were the name of the boat, with EFMC. And then across the top, in sort of like scroll work writing, it says something. Let me see if I can find their motto again. Right. Business for the Freyden of tomorrow. Yep. And
Oh,
it's just
boy.
sort of like this tall, flat-topped tower that has these symbols on all four sides. And you had just witnessed there's a set of Warforged guards outside the tower, and you witnessed a robed figure who you identified as a member of the wizard group known as the Eyes of the World come out and speak with the Warforged briefly, and then go back in. And then you saw another black-robed figure up near the top floor using Hunter's scope to sort of spy a little bit, interacting with two figures who you only really saw the backs of their heads. There was a black-haired woman and a black-haired man, but both the man and woman have like these red streaks in their hair. And then that figure left, and that was about where we left off. So that's where we pick up.
I'm smacking Hunter's arm. I told you we'd find them here.
Like, I never doubted you.
Oh, they all thought I just wanted to gamble.
Well, we thought that too.
What do we do? Do you wanna go spy on them? Or
well, their meeting concluded.
yeah, they're gonna come back out, right? Should we tail them? See where they're going? We could try to we could try to capture one of them or both of them, and I know ways to get them to talk.
I don't doubt that. If they come out, I think tailing them would be okay. I'm pretty disguised, I think.
I could also make us invisible.
That would double down on that too, I guess. Yeah, if you want to. When are we supposed to meet up with the others?
I
For
think you
dinner?
said dinner time at the
Dinner
casino.
at the casino, yeah.
What time is it right now?
It's probably sometime around noon.
Alright,
So you've got some hours, some time
Yeah.
to kill.
I like this game.
Alright, yeah, we can wait for them for a little bit.
So you kind of find there is like a small park built around the tower. I shouldn't say small. It's a pretty large park built around the tower. And there's people strolling through it constantly, and they're like, there's the merchants with their sort of outrageously rich garb, and then there's also, you see in more practical garb, sailors and will occasionally come stroll through or like sit on a bench to eat something. And that seems to be the two main populations of people that live in this town. It's like ridiculously rich merchants and sailors. So then as you sit
as we're sitting there waiting,
Mhm.
I guess we're not seeing any other Warforged wandering around town. They're just kind of stationed.
Yeah, they seem to be
places.
stationed in specific places.
Okay. We could try to, like, because we're both in disguise, blend in or talk to them in character. But I don't see a lot of other Warforged wandering around.
I don't think it'd be good for me to approach them.
Right.
You
Right.
could though.
And I can't think of a reasonable excuse for us to be together. Because I don't even see any Warforged, like, chaperoning
I'm
anything
looking for
anymore.
your friend's child.
I forgot about that. So
That's why
I
we're
think
together.
I think our best bet is maybe to go invisible and follow them and try to hear what they're talking about or see where they're meeting,
Okay.
see where they go and spy.
Sure. Is there, do you have, what's it called, detect thoughts or any of the sort of,
I don't have
Spy.
any of that
Okay.
kind of magic, but I can. I can make
Okay.
us invisible and we can try to get close enough to hear them. That's all.
okay, yeah, we'll figure something out.
Unless I polymorph you into something with really good hearing.
You could polymorph yourself into something really good, couldn't you?
Yes. This is true. The last time I polymorphed myself, I almost fell out of the sky, so
Ah, yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember how I got up there, but I know I must have polymorphed myself
In hindsight.
in
Yeah,
hindsight.
we were all very concerned and confused.
Unless someone else polymorphed me, but
No,
you
it
guys
was
don't
you.
know magic.
So in the first we'll say there's like an hour and a half where you just watch this building and no Eyes of the World people seem to come out, and no Warforged really seem to leave their posts or anything like that. People do go in and out of the building. They seem to be more of the merchants rather than Eyes of the World members or anything like that. At about an hour and a half in, there is a spectacle that you can't help but miss. Or you could not miss if you tried.
It's been an hour. My disguise would have worn off too.
Oh, were you disguised?
I had disguised self up.
Well, you can like duck behind a tree and recast if you want.
If I should, or we have like we could duck behind a tree and just sit there.
It's true, you're pretty conspicuous when you're not disguised.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
I will redisguise yourself.
Okay, I will. Use another spell slot, and I'll do it. No wild magic, but
Okay,
almost.
I gather it was close.
It was a 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but then at about the hour and a half mark of your stakeout, there's an event that you just could not miss if you tried.
Okay.
Which is that coming over the horizon, and you can it's hard to see over the walls of the city from here or anything like that. But what you're seeing must be really high up in the air, because you can even see it beyond the walls of the city. Coming towards the city seems to be what is unmistakably a boat that is flying through the sky. And it is attached to like this large balloon-like structure up at the very top. And as it sort of angles in towards the city, you can see that there is that same circular logo of the East Freedom Mercantile Corporation. And this boat that is sailing through the sky just slowly putters towards the tower, the East Freedom Mercantile Corporation, and then sort of stops next to one of the circular logos, which then sort of rolls to the side. And you can see there's some activity going on between the boat and the tower. But then after a few minutes, that activity stops and the logo closes again. And the ship flies off in the direction of the docks, where it lowers down beyond the area that you can see into the dock area, and presumably lands in the water down there.
Is there a way that while I
Are we
was
there at the docks?
You were only at the docks for a few minutes,
That's true.
And you went off.
and then you went off.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I'm
So-
assuming you're not there at this.
Okay.
But if you're out in the city, you guys would see that as well.
Yeah.
is there a way while that whole thing is happening, they approach the door, I guess, to get like a better angle to see what figures are going on, if there's anything?
Let me know if you see any robes, and I'll fly up there and check it out.
Okay.
What you see when you sort of get a better angle
Mm-hmm.
is that there are several people that look to be like hired sailors that are moving cargo back and forth from the ship into the tower, and sort of observing it are those same 2 black-haired figures that you saw before up in the top floor office.
Okay, so I'd tell Harmony that.
And with your scope, you can sort of get a better look at them now, because you can get sort of like a frontal view of them.
Yeah.
And they're just wearing sort of like, I mean, almost like very like old London businessy attire, you know? Like the man is in a suit and the woman is in like a skirt of some kind and like a nice blouse and things like that. And the man has sort of dark, narrow eyes, and he's got a red streak that goes through his short black hair that goes right here and on this side as well. And then the woman has the same narrow eyes, but they're red. And then she has red streaks that go at a couple different intervals in her black hair as it flows down her back.
Do I recall any of those features from the Elder Haven Reaches?
They don't have the skin complexion of
Okay.
someone from the Elder Haven Reaches. They're
Okay.
more fair, which is typical to this continent.
I see.
So
if you tell me,
Yeah, I said those figures are overseeing the interaction going on.
alright, I'll be right back.
Okay.
What kind of birds have I seen around here?
crows, pigeons, sparrows, everything that would be in a normal city, really.
I'll turn myself into a sparrow.
Okay.
What level is that? I can't remember.
Polymorph
It's been a
is
long time.
4.
It was a rhetorical question.
Your 2 DMs at the table are just like 4.
No wild magic.
3, but I didn't know.
You'll get
So I'll turn myself into a sparrow and I'll fly up there and I'll try to find a place to perch where I can hear them.
Yeah, you can pretty much perch right on the top of the door. Actually, there's one or two other birds that are up there, and they sort of like look at you when you come close, like, quack! Get away. But when you fluff your feathers, they fly to the other door.
The hunter's like, right on. That'll teach them.
So are you trying to like overhear conversation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at what's going on and trying to hear what anyone's
Roll a
talking
perception check.
about. Does being a sparrow give me any advantage? I don't know if they're good at things.
I
know
think
if it was
maybe
like
if it were perception.
Well, it's about how
I mean, like visual perception. Sorry, that was my bad. Like
It's
auditory
cool.
perception, I don't think so.
It's cool.
That's not bad. That's really good. That is
So-
my new die too.
With polymorph, do you keep your intelligence?
Nope.
Is it everything that changes?
But you wouldn't lose your ability to comprehend language. I don't think.
I can look at this.
I don't know.
I don't know what a sparrow's. Anyway, it's an 18 on die.
Okay, that's really good. So we'll
So-
say that regardless,
regardless of
you
what
manage
my-
to comprehend what you're hearing.
What?
You gather very quickly that these two figures in like the suits are pretty much overseeing the procedure, and the sailors are just bringing in cargo. None of them really mention what the cargo is specifically, but they're bringing it
But they're
into
bringing
the building.
it in off of the boat
Yeah.
onto the.
And then from there, you can see sort of like, if you bend your head inside, you can see that there's sort of like a loading dock. And then it is being taken from there to various service elevators, which are then going downward, it looks like. And you hear the sailors, when the two figures will bark orders like, take that over there, or, something like that. The sailors will refer to them as Mr. and Mrs. Nightclaw.
Hey, looks like we got a reason to go to the casino after all.
Oh, interesting. So this just says that it retains its alignment and personality, but you replace all the statistics, including mental ability scores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know if that would make you lose your ability to
It
speak
says
language.
it specifically says you can't speak, cast spells, or take any of that action that require hands or speech. But it doesn't say you can't.
Speech, but it doesn't say you can't
Yeah,
understand.
you can't
I'm
listen.
gonna say you probably.
So
yep. That's
So
like
these
what you
people with the black and red hair, the red streaks in their hair, they're not the ones with the eyes cloaks, are they?
did. They were
Are they?
meeting with people wearing cloaks of Eyes of the World.
But these aren't. These are the people that were. Okay.
Yeah, they were the ones on the other side of the desk.
Right. Was there any sign of the eyes?
Not in here. No.
No. And they haven't come out of the tower yet.
or so we know, unless
As
the
far as
tower
we know.
goes like underground.
Yeah, unless there's other exits that we won't
Mhm.
find. Okay. I'll sit up here until the ship leaves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before the ship leaves, the doors begin to grind to a.
I'm like really tempted to just fly inside the tower, but I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I message you.
really
Peter,
bad
like,
idea.
don't you dare.
Am I within range of that?
I mean, it's
You better be.
probably about 100-foot tall.
You
tower,
can see me
something
kind
like
of
that.
flitting, like hovering,
Yeah,
like
you're
I'm
like,
thinking about it.
fidgeting, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
Okay. Okay. And I'll fly back down to Hunter.
So while you guys decide what you want to do next, we'll switch over to the other crew.
Is my disguise spell gonna still be active?
Is it concentration?
No.
Then yes.
We are going to the
Jumping
Jumping
clam.
Clam.
Yeah, and it takes a little while. I guess you can see how long it takes. One of you, whoever wants to, can roll a charisma check with advantage, assuming you're helping each other.
I'll go for it, my charisma.
And you're both very
I would say
charismatic, and I'm
Yeah,
assuming
she's
you're
very
helping each other.
charismatic.
So.
But his is
So
better.
50.
15. Yeah, so probably it only takes you about 20 to 30 minutes to even find the place, because A, the people in the town are so willing to help, and B, you're just so charming.
Yeah.
So you find this dingy little bar. that doesn't seem to have really like any activity going on. As you sort of peek in the window, you can see there's 2 or 3 people seated inside, and there's maybe a man in like his early to late 20s who seems to be cleaning behind the bar. But that's about all that seems to be going on inside. And it has a sign that says, the drunken clam. Yeah, and it's just got a picture of a clam with a bottle. That just seems to be. The sign has like
carrying the bottle.
It's not. It's like turned up in the air.
Oh, okay.
And the sign has like a magical effect on it, so that the liquid looks like it's constantly draining, and then it will refill, and then it will drain. And occasionally bubbles will come up from the clam, but that's
Wasn't that the name of the bar in Family Guy too or something?
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that was happenstance.
Yeah,
I don't
figured it
watch
was.
Family Guy.
I figured it was, yeah.
I didn't.
And
say anything
it's funny because
I
you
didn't
mentioned
follow.
that. I'm like, that's even the same logo, really.
Is it really? Darn it!
What
I
other
should have
kind of
written
logo
Family
you can
Guy.
have?
It's literally like an
Something
open clam with a
called-
bottle pouring, and I'm like, I'm
Smack.
sensing something.
It was unintentional.
No, that's fine.
That's
I believe
funny.
you.
Call it the Smashed Oyster.
This
It's
match
not-
is gross.
There you go.
We'll go with drunken clam. Yeah. And so as you walk in, a little bell rings, but no one really looks up from their drinks. You can see there's an old man who's just passed out on the table, with his like beard in a plate of food. And then there is a woman who seems to be in her mid-60s or something like that. A human woman. And she is in sailor's garb and is sitting at a table in the corner. And even from here, you can see that she has something around her neck, and it's sort of draped down in front of her sailor's garb. And you can tell that it is a holy symbol of Melora. And then the other person in the tavern seems to be playing a game of solitaire with himself in the corner. And he'll quite frequently just like swear, be like, "Damn! That wasn't where I wanted that." You know, or like he'll reveal a card and be like, "Damn, damn!" And yeah, those are the 4 people in there.
Alright. I think Thaddeus just looks around and raises his voice and says, Captain Shepard Barker?
The man who has just shouted, "Damn, damn!" looks up and says, "What? Huh?"
Alright. I'll go and sit with him.
And he sort of like looks at you out of the side of his eye a little bit, and he's like, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Yeah.
Well, are you going to?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go
you'll
sit
slide
down.
over.
Go sit down.
Look, I mean, solitaire is a one-man game. If you're looking to play, you're gonna have to find somewhere else.
Can we buy you a drink?
That anyone is always welcome to do. And you can see he has like 4 or 5 empty tankards lined up next to his game of solitaire.
Barkeep, over here, please.
Yeah, the man bustles over, and he's got kind of like he's trying to grow a mustache, but it's not going well type thing going on. Yes?
3 tankards of your finest ale. You drink. Okay.
It's late enough. Sure.
Okay.
Ooh, I don't know.
That is
like-
his line
It's like
slips.
noon.
Yeah. Harmony's ears are burning like,
Guys,
Day
it's not breakfast,
drinking.
it's like, well, at least it's not breakfast.
Yeah.
day drinking.
Right, coming right up, and he rustles behind the bar, comes back
What are you,
about a
dwarf?
moment later, and he's just carrying all 3 and sets them down. And I start a tab. What name should I put on that? He looks at you.
Mara.
Mara. All right. And he goes behind the counter and writes something down on a piece of paper. You're not just buying a man a drink for no reason, right?
Never.
Figured as much. But what can I do for you? I mean, you've got my attention. He like takes a big drink of his ale.
Tell us about your ship.
Well, if you've seen her, you know about all there is you need to know about her. She's
No,
a ship.
I had
She'll
a
sail.
question. Why is she called? Wow, my notes are bad.
The Shameless Spectre.
The Shameless Spectre. What is this? Why did I? Whatever that says.
The Shalege Spectre.
The Shillelagh Spectre.
Shillelagh.
The Shameless Spectre.
Yeah, believe it or not, I didn't name the boat. It was a gift. I don't really know why it's called that, but no point in changing it.
Okay.
How long have you been on it?
Oh, you know, most of my adult life. Since the age of about 15 or so. And he looks to be like he's maybe 35, 40.
Okay.
And just being up close to him, Mara, as someone who can sort of evaluate a city lord by their looks, you can see that he's got the muscles in the right places from like the hard work on a boat. And he's got like the tan that one would work up from being out on like the deck of the
Like
ship.
leathery skin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got the look of a sailor.
Tell me about your cook.
He raises an eyebrow. Cook?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's pretty much responsible for cooking their own food on board.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Oh, cook.
we don't have a cook. Look, I mean,
Mara's like, nope, not this one. Next.
if you're looking to hire a cook, there's plenty of chefs over in West Shore and East Shore. I'm sure would be much better. Looking on a boat, piece of advice: not where you want to look for a chef.
I've always observed that happy stomachs make happy sailors.
He shrugs. Alcohol can do the same.
How is your ship for passenger capacity?
His expression falls a little bit and he says, okay, that's what this is about. Look, I don't do passenger runs anymore.
Thaddeus gets up.
Okay. Well, that was easy. Thanks for the drink. And he just finishes the rest of his. Were you going to finish that? He like points over at you.
Thaddeus just taking like 2 sips of it and just shrugs. Actually, no, he's going to take it with him to the next table.
That was worth a shot. Mara, are you going with him to the next table or
Yeah.
staying here?
I don't like that guy.
Alright.
No cook. I like
He
that.
goes back to his game
No,
of solitaire.
no passengers? Why were we talking to this man?
Yeah. Well, we found that out quick.
Yeah.
Too bad it cost us a
Maybe
temper
could have been
whale.
convinced to the passengers. But that's okay.
They don't want to have to do work.
No, that's
Not when
not.
you have Mantle Ray, who's like, yeah, we're so fast. Take all the passengers.
Yeah, so the other person who presumably in here is a captain would be this older woman, whose name you learned was, I believe,
Constance Holt.
Constance Holt. That's right.
And I'll walk up to her and ask, are you Captain Constance Holt?
That's right. Who's asking? And as you get closer, you can see that she's got kind of a tired look in her eyes. It's very clear that her age is taking an effect on her. She's very tired. She says, "That's right. And you are?"
I'm Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock. This is Associate Mara Stormwind.
Her eyebrow raises. Stormwind, and she sort of narrows her eyes at you.
That's right. That's me.
You wouldn't happen to be of any relation to a Marion Stormwind, would you?
That's my mom.
Right. Okay, I can see the resemblance now you mention. Okay, have a seat. Now we can talk.
Thaddeus sits down with his drink.
How do you know my mom?
Your mom and I sailed together once. A long time back in the day. Long, long time ago now, it feels like. And she sort of absent-mindedly, she stares off into space for a second, and she absent-mindedly pulls out from her pocket a coin, a gold coin, that has, it's just barnacle encrusted, and she starts twiddling that in her hands. So, Marion Stormwind's daughter.
Did you know she passed?
Yeah, I heard about that. It was a long time ago, though. Never really sat right with me, if I'm honest. Kind of felt like the East Freight and Mercantile Corporation moved in on your parents' turf quicker than they ought to have, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there, nor is it any of my business. What can I do to help you?
We're looking to hire a ship to take us to. You have the map. That is
I think I don't. I think
I think I have it.
yeah.
to an
Replace the
island.
thing.
You said last time because like
But then she
Well,
put
we
it back.
showed it.
oh no you did put it
I
back.
took it
So,
out
yeah,
and put it back.
Thaddeus
Yeah.
does have it.
Yeah, because we showed it to Mantle.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And he told us the name of it was Kame Kame.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Kame Island.
Yep.
Do you
Yep.
know
Kame
Kame
Island.
Kame Island?
She says, "No, I don't. You said you have a map, though? If you let
Yes.
me take a look, I might be able to figure out where it is."
Fishes out the book and pulls up the map.
She leaves through it and sort
Not
of
that
like
one.
folds out the sheets of the map and takes out like some navigator's tools and begins like placing them on the map and like doing calculations and things like that. Yeah, okay. It's a little ways away, but I mean it's off. It's a good course from here.
And we have money we can pay.
Oh, well, I mean, that's good in its own right, considering the cut that the East Freight and Mercantile Corporation takes out of any vessel going out of here. But I'm not terribly interested in it. To be honest,
I didn't finish writing down her name. I've got Captain Constance Ho.
Holt.
I know. I didn't finish.
To be honest, I wasn't. Not sure.
That's all about-
Rude.
Not sure I'll be going back out on the sea anymore. I haven't told the crew yet, but starting to feel that the wind is out of my sails. If you know what I mean. I'm just reaching that age.
That's, sorry to hear that. What do I know about Melora?
Melora is a goddess of nature, and it's sort of like all aspects of nature, from like
What was the deity in Redwater? Was that
Melora.
Melora? Okay, yeah.
It's like
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, that's so familiar. It must be the Eli one.
You had a gift.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
gift
it.
of
I feel like you're more
Mellora's
familiar
voice.
with Melora.
it's like she's
Most
the goddess
gods
of
are
like nature and kind of opposes civilization to an extent. One of her biggest domains is the sea. But as Constance is twiddling the coin, she sort of looks at Mara again and says, "You know, if I recall correctly, your mother left some things for you, but you'd already left town with your grandfather, from what I heard. I just heard a rumor about it back in the day." And she like calls to the barman. She says, "What was his name again? I named him." Yeah.
Barton?
No, it wasn't Barton. But actually, I think it was close. It was like Dalton or something like that. We'll just go with Dalton since I can't find it. She goes, "Dalton, hasn't there been a box in the back for years from a storm wind?" And Dalton sort of goes into the back and checks and comes back with an old dusty wooden box that's maybe like about this big.
Thaddeus' eyebrows are like up here at this point.
Lateness.
Because none of us knew this was kind of your turf. None of us knew that.
And Dalton brings it over and sets it down on the table. Is it for her? I mean, this has been in the back for years. Like, years. Do you mind if I stay and see what's in? Just out of curiosity?
Do I want to open it here or do I want to take it
Up
back?
to you.
I don't know if I want to open it here. It might be a little too emotional. You understand my hesitation.
His face falls a little bit. He's like, "Can't confess I'm not disappointed, but I understand privacy." And he goes back to behind the bar. Then Constance goes on and says, "Yeah, I wasn't terribly close with your mother, but I come to this bar frequently enough, and this box comes up every now and again. They're always wondering whether they should open it or just get rid of it. So yeah, I guess
Well, I'm
it's
glad-
yours now if you want it."
I'm glad that you saved it for me. Thank you very much. I didn't know my mother well, but I'd be happy to have anything from her.
He was a good woman, a good sailor.
Thaddeus' eyebrows. Yeah. Still hiking up.
And then she turns back to Thaddeus, and she's sort of finished making her calculations with the navigator tools, and says, "Look, if I'm going to be honest, if I sail again, it will be my last time, and there's got to be a damn good reason."
You ever heard of the Eyes of the World?
Shrugs.
They've taken over Ferryville.
There's sort of like a knowing look in her eyes then, and she says, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I heard some news from Farendale the other day. They were saying a new monarch took power. Some guy named Orin, something like that. Oreo, I'm not sure.
I know. I mean, I know who Orin is, but I'm just like confused. That can't be right.
That's all I know. So you're saying these people were behind it? These eyes?
These eyes. They're based out of the Elder Hidden Regions, which is where we're trying to get it.
Her eyebrow raises again and she says, "You know that place is supposedly surrounded by a black fog that kills anyone who goes in there, right?"
Anyone except whoever has a specific compass that is on this island.
Interesting. So what you're telling me is, this is likely to be fraught with danger,
That's
and
right.
Melora will claim my soul on the sea where I belong. She thinks for a second.
She's very dramatic,
Keep going.
like a soap opera.
This is when you use the romance
And this is
novel.
where we
Yeah.
cut to commercial.
She says,
Better that than to drink yourself to death in some seaside bar, don't you think?
unlike the other guy, she has one drink on the table and it's barely touched.
Okay.
There's a plate of food that's been picked at, but the drink has been barely touched. And so she laughs and says, "Yeah, infinitely better than that. Yeah, look, if you want me to sail for you, and you're willing to front the fee for the East Freight and Mercantile Corporation to get out of the harbor, then sure. What the heck? I'll sail for you.
Alright.
I'll need a little bit of money also to pay for the crew, because they, unlike me, won't sail for free. But taking the captain's salary off it will dock you a decent amount.
Right. Well, the other half of the company is waiting for us elsewhere, but we'll be back to you soon to let you know our final answer.
Sure, I'll either be here or down at my ship. I sometimes sleep down there if it's in the evening. So,
Good to meet you.
and she shakes your hand.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I hope that the contents of that box are not disappointing.
Have a good feeling.
How big is the box?
Maybe, well, let me see what I put in it. Yeah, it's something like maybe that big.
Okay, so you could like stick it in your bag. Okay. I was just wondering if she's gonna be like walking around the town.
No,
like,
I mean,
It's, I think,
It's-
do you need me to carry that for you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Its long side is like maybe 1.5 feet, and then its short side is
That'll be fabulous.
like 8 inches, 10 inches, something like that. Let's go back to the other guys.
oh.
So Harmony's ears are burning when Daddy was drinking during the day.
Weird side effect from my polymorph spell.
You pull a feather out of your ear.
Yeah.
The people that you saw in the meeting with the Eyes of the World are Mr. and Mrs. Nightclaw.
Same
And
people that own the
apparently they
casino.
own the casino.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of position of power they have in this corporation, but there's a link.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't know. Should we... I don't know. Should we go to the casino and like try
If-
to ask about them and
if
see?
the
what-
owners of the casino are connected with the eyes, then the next place to go would be the casino.
Right.
See if there's any more connections. So
That is his ears start burning.
I think we should
I mean,
write
it's
this.
not like we're going to
I-
gamble, but I did get the 20 gold from Mara.
I think we should write this on the agenda.
Good idea.
And then his ears are on fire immediately. His eyebrows come down and then they go back up.
But I did get that 20 gold from Mara, so we could go in there and play a few games and try to chat with some people and see what they know.
And Hunter's like head shakes his like thousands of gold, like 20 gold.
You're the gambler, really?
No, I'm just
Well, it has a good poker face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would
That's
have
the
no
only thing.
idea.
Would you be allowed to go in there?
Let's find out.
And if not, are you gonna want me to cast my illusion spell?
I bet Warforged are really good at counting cards.
I'll never reveal
They can only
my,
count to one.
my card tricks. Oh. I can count in binary.
Snap.
though.
It's exactly, you can only count to one.
No, you can count to any
0,
number.
1.
You can count to any number in binary. But you only know 0s and 1s. That's true.
So should we just go to the casino?
Unless we have a little bit of time to kill, but unless there's
Or we
something
could
else we
wait
want
to
to
see
see
if
right now.
because those two hidden figures haven't come out yet.
Yeah, I think there's another exit.
We could go invisible and sneak into the tower.
No, let's wait for the others.
Okay.
I know that you're scheming, but no.
I'm really curious. And also worried. But mostly curious.
Yeah, I figured as much.
What do you think we should do?
Unless there's another interest that we have in the town, then I think just going to the casino would be fine.
Okay.
But
We can kill some time. I mean, it's probably, what, early afternoon now? Late afternoon?
I actually need.
Because we spent a few hours just waiting.
I actually need to buy some supplies for arrows.
Yeah, you can buy any mundane
So-
supplies you want.
I would like to buy some mundane supplies.
Ooh.
Do you remember? You probably don't.
I do.
What I charged you for your supplies before?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
and I can dock that if you'd
Then
like.
yeah, you can just take the same amount.
Fire.
I have it all written down.
Stuff to sell.
Let's do 7 times, in fact.
Woo!
Thank you.
High
Yeah,
school.
any sort of like mundane things you want to do in town as well. Like if you have stuff to sell, this is a place you can do it
Oh, I have lots
easily
of stuff.
since it's like a town full of merchants.
I have so much stuff.
Lots of stuff.
I mean, I would assume, like, let's say we stock up on potion supplies, even though you charge us for that
Mhm.
as I make them. But can we also look for some greater healing potions? Maybe?
They were sort of scoffing at like a no magic place. But
That's
is
true.
this alchemy? Is that different than magic, or is that
It's
the same?
slightly different.
like- okay.
I will
Magic
let me
infused
see.
liquid or something.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
Okay.
And we'll see.
Both
if
of
you-
us or just one of us?
Just one of you with an advantage, I suppose, assuming the other one is helping.
I have a +2.
6.
Okay, you do it with advantage.
I got an 18 and a 19, so
Nice.
25.
So it takes you maybe like another hour or two, just because there's like this is a rare place to find. But
You have a
do
cloak
find
with a hood, right?
I don't need it.
For me.
Oh yeah, I have one for
Because if
you.
it takes us another hour, my
its
disguise is
armpits are
up.
burnt out. But
I might have another one actually.
I feel like we have more than that, just that one.
Well, we have orange robes.
I don't want to wear orange.
We have another Eyes of the World robes.
notably about orange robes, though, they don't have any Eyes of the World symbols on them. They're just black robes.
Yeah, but that's gross.
Prestidigitation.
No.
Even
Okay,
Thaddeus has an Eyes of the World cloak.
Yeah.
some
Well,
Yeah.
I
you
think
guys have
that would
killed
make.
a lot of those guys.
We've taken them for disguises too if we
Yeah.
need them. I suppose I could buy one. Yeah. While we're looking, if I feel the disguise wearing off, I'm gonna duck into a shop and buy.
You can wear. Do you have
A cloak with a
proficiency?
hood.
Wait, so if you don't have proficiency in armor, what happens?
I don't know if you can gain any benefit from it. But
What
I'm
if
not
it's
entirely
magic?
Sure.
You
Well,
studied
there-
the magic effect.
There are magic armors that you can gain benefits from, even if you're not proficient. Like there's an elven chainmail or something like that.
So we still have what's her face's leather armor.
You should give that
Oh.
to Mara.
I totally forgot about it
Mara
until we saw
wears
the
leather
card.
armor.
I know. She has. Oh yeah, I mean she can have it. But this would give you.
Our item hoarder over there.
You know, I'm sorry. I just like don't look when I'm not
Like,
looking for
we don't
things.
know what
I just
we
pass
have.
by it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
The holder of the bag of holding.
I know. I'm so bad. I don't take inventory regularly. Anyways,
It says if you wear armor that you lack proficiency with, you have disadvantage on any ability check, saving throw, or attack roll that involves strength or dex.
That's
and
so
you,
bad.
That's
and you
pretty
can't cast spells.
okay, never mind. Don't do that.
I couldn't wear it.
Okay, never mind.
But yeah, can we duck into just a clothing shop and I'll buy like a
I have noble's clothes. You have noble's clothes.
yes.
I'm gonna just say it would be.
I want like a cloak
Yeah,
with a
that's fine.
hood so I can
Okay.
wear it over my horns and like hide my tail.
I'm gonna say it would be sort of similar to traveler's clothes, which will run you 2 gold pieces.
That's fine. I'll let's see, what do I have?
I'll make that up in no time.
Yeah. I mean I have a bunch of
Maybe
of gold anyway, so I'll just pay for it. 2 gold pieces.
Yeah, you guys are rich. You don't have to penny pinch at all.
Yeah.
I will anyways.
I was gonna trade for it, but everything I have is more expensive than that. So.
Okay.
Can I have it be purple, like a dark purple, not like a standout like
Mhm.
a sore thumb purple, but like a deep
Like that
plum
color purple.
color?
You can find really
Oh,
like
dark
any color clothes here that you
Yeah,
want.
with a hood and a belt.
The merchants here are very colorful. So,
Oh my god, I'm so happy right now.
darling, you have to come to the casino.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, can I also get a makeup kit?
Like a disguise kit.
Alright.
I'm not
gonna
proficient with
do
it,
the
but-
arrows,
How much does a disguise kit cost?
Looking it up.
and then
Thank goodness for D&D Beyond. Really.
Yeah.
anything else that we needed? I don't think so. At least, I mean, they said there was a.
25 gold pieces.
The only thing
I
I want-
have pricey 5 large gems that are each worth 25 gold
Just
pieces. So I'll
cross
trade one of
out.
those for a disguise kit
The-
because I want to be able to put makeup on myself
There you go.
if I wear my cloak. So I don't have pink skin.
Oh.
You will, however, have horns and a tail.
But if I have my hood up,
That's true.
that's,
You're good.
that's the point. Yeah.
And if you have your lower hood up, then cover your tail.
Just tuck your tail between your legs.
Well, I have
I
it
know,
wrapped
I'm
around my,
just-
my waist
yeah,
like
yeah,
the Saiyans do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like Goku, yeah.
Like Goku
Anyways,
or Vegeta.
that's true. And Nappa. Anyway, so the only other thing I'd want to do is check out the Thimblefoot
Branch store?
branch store that's out here
Okay.
and see if
Before that, you rolled a really good investigation check
Right, we
to
were looking
find
for greater
like
healing
an
potions.
apothecary, and you find one that's run by sort of a wizened old lady, and she is like mixing. She's like powdering something in a mortar and pestle when you walk in the door.
This is my
And
kind
she
of
sort of gives you these wide eyes, and it's eerily quiet in here.
do you know what that is? She's doing?
Yes. Maybe? Do I? Do I know what she's making?
Roll a perception check.
Okay. 11.
She has next to her little mortar and pestle a jar that is labeled "Tongue of Toad."
Oh, gross. I'll lean over and say, "You don't want to know."
What can I do for you?
Ooh. Wow. Hi.
Hello.
This is cool. What you making?
Powdered tongue of toad for use in a potion of leaping.
A potion of leaping. Oh, that's so genius. I'm going to take a note.
That's one you don't know how to make, so yeah.
Right. I'm going to
Now
write
you
it
know
in like
one
my
ingredient.
potion identification book. I'll write an ingredient next to it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Just, wait, that's a trade secret.
I won't tell the soul.
Good. Better not.
I can't say this thing. No.
I'll be like, do you know how to make potions of fire breathing?
And she's like scratches her head vigorously, like reaches for a book,
It's like
pulls it out.
flies flying out.
Yeah, when she pulls out a book, there's like cat hair that flies everywhere. Presumably it's
I look around for a cat.
There's no cat.
Oh no. Oh no.
She leafs through the book. Potion of fire resistance, potion of fire newt transformation. No potion of fire breathing. No, I don't know how to make one of those. And she closes the book with more cat.
Would you like to know?
Are you offering?
Yes, for a trade.
Yes. And she reaches her hand across.
Shake. Alright, I'll tell you how to make a potion if you tell me how to make a potion.
Okay.
Okay.
Which potion do we want?
I don't know.
What potion? She can probably make one up to like let's see, there's common. That's like fire breathing and regular healing. She could make the next level up, which is
Uncommon. I think.
uncommon.
Yeah.
Oh, the healing potion.
I'm gonna have
right?
to look on D&D Beyond to
You gotta
see
make
what's
the
an
next
uncommon.
rank of the healing potion.
I thought about that, but I also thought, what about like utility stuff? Like, what level is a potion of flying?
Or invulnerability,
I
that
love
was
that
great.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that's the beginning.
Vulnerability is,
probably
I
really
think, pretty high.
Dang it.
Mhm.
It was so good though.
That was
Flying
a
one was
really good
fun.
roll on a treasure table for you.
Yeah,
at some
a potion
point.
of flying would be really good because that's a spell I don't think any of
And I'm
us can
glad I
use.
never used it until then. Because I would have
Let's see.
died.
Okay, so uncommon things that could be here would be
Oh, good. Yeah, just tell me. That would be faster.
parapet of health, which would cure you of diseases and things, but I think Thaddeus can do that anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Filter of love,
Oh.
potion of animal friendship, potion of healing greater, potion of growth,
Oh.
I think
Gain
that,
back all my lost inches.
what it would
And
do
then
is
some.
it would let you gain the enlarge effect of the enlarge reduce spell.
Right, right.
Potion of Hill Giant Strength, which would raise your strength, but it wouldn't do anything for Hunter. Potion of Poison, Potion of Resistance,
singled out.
Potion of Water Breathing.
Ooh, water
Wow, there's a lot. Potion of Swimming.
I don't need that.
You know.
Potion of Swimming could be useful.
I don't need that either.
Yeah, I don't. Well, no.
Is
'cause
that
I can't-
all of them?
Yep, that's about it.
I would just do the healing.
The greater. Okay, let's do greater healing.
Okay. Then she says, yes, this will take some time. Your friend better sit still. I don't want to see any mischief while
Why
we're
don't you-
teaching.
So
do you
I'm
want to
gonna.
go check out Thimblefoot while I'm here?
I could do that, or I could just use my new arrow supplies to
Or
make
just
arrows.
fletch arrows in the corner?
How long will it take?
Some time.
Okay. Do I know where the Thimblefoot place is? Maybe go there first.
No, but you could probably wander around town and find
I
it.
won't leave here until you come back.
So, okay. I kind of need you for my story though. Remember for the child thing?
Right. Right.
I'll just stay here. It's safer that way. And then I won't get pulled up to guard duty.
That's yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's your biggest fear.
Yeah, I can't just like cast disguise self on you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just hang out in fletch arrows. 'Cause I don't want to get
Okay.
a guard shift.
Then yeah, she spends some time teaching you how to make a potion of greater healing, which I'll figure out a price for you later when you try and make it on your own.
Right.
But it will be significantly more expensive.
Than the regular healing.
Yeah, and it's very similar in the way it's made to a potion of healing. There's just slightly more of certain ingredients, and then a couple more expensive ingredients are thrown in there. But by and by, it's mostly the same.
Okay. Cool. Can I add that to my proficiency list?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then presumably you teach her as well. She picks up on it very quickly. Like it took her several hours to teach you and get you to make one right.
Several hours.
Like an hour or 2 hours, we'll say.
Oh, okay. I was like,
But
late.
she picks
We're
it
late.
up in like half an hour.
Yeah.
I will have to buy some ingredients for this.
It's fun, right?
Mm.
You should test it out later. Just make sure you're not near anything.
I have a back room for such things.
Ooh.
And she like opens up a door, and you can just see that there's like this room full of like charred things and like
I love this lady. What's her name? What's your name?
Ethel.
Ethel.
Appropriate.
You can come back here anytime.
Thank
If you learn
Maybe
any more
next time
recipes,
we'll-
we can exchange again.
Yeah. I like you. I'm Harmony.
I'm Ethel.
I'm Harmony.
And she just sort of like, she has this habit like when the conversation lulls, she doesn't offer anything. She just sort of looks at you.
I'll be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go, but thanks!
Come back anytime.
I'll come back with more trade secrets.
You're welcome anytime. Trade secrets are always good.
And I'll leave.
All right.
I'll get Hunter.
What are the other two of you doing?
How many arrows can I make in that
Sorry.
time?
In 2 hours?
Ethel.
Maybe like 10? I don't know. I feel like my numbers are probably all over the place each time I tell you.
I forget. I mean, do you want to just set a number right now per hour?
Yeah, we'll just say like 5 per hour.
Okay, it's fine.
It's probably
I'll write that
high,
down.
but
It's okay. I'm really good at it now.
Really good.
I'll
Hi.
just add that real quick.
So does the casino is the type of place that has a hotel attached?
oh yeah.
So we probably ought to make our way over there and get
Yeah.
lodgings.
Is there anything else you want to do while we're here?
Well,
Do you want to like find a back alley and open the box, or are you waiting to have like a
I'll wait-
room?
Yeah, I want to be more private. Wait, I probably will wait till everybody's asleep because I don't know what's in there. Wait, do you want to see inside too?
Don't. I'm
You
not
don't
there.
know. You
I don't
know.
even know you got a box.
Okay.
Do you have any other business you want to conduct in this town?
Mine shot crossbolts. Crossbolts.
Yeah, probably ought to
Crossbow
restock.
bolts.
We need to restock.
Does Mara have a crossbow or a short bow?
A short bow.
I wouldn't mind doing a bit of
Yeah,
training.
short bow.
Yeah, anything you want to shop for, you can do here. That is sort of
How many
my goal.
arrows do you have left? Have you been marking them off when you've been shooting them?
just so you know, the potion shop, I
Yeah.
gave a 10% chance that there's one in town. I rolled a 10 on the percentile dice.
Nice.
Nice. I've only used 3.
You've used 3.
I could send you to do some shopping.
Okay.
Are you guys looking for anything in specific?
I'm looking for a bookstore.
The bookstore.
Oh, yeah. Of course you are.
You
Damn
do
it,
find,
I'm not
you do find a
there.
bookstore. There's a pretty big bookstore here in town. I think Thaddeus has like all the glory on the Heartwood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not,
like-
it's probably not been a new one in the last couple months. I
Yeah.
doubt it.
So as you're perusing that section of the store,
You say that section like it's like a bad.
it's like a romance novel section.
That.
I know what it is, but you just.
The teenage girl
section.
clerk who's a little bit mousy walks up and says, "Oh," and she sort of like is going to put a book back on the shelf and then sees you in the romance novel section and she says, "Oh, sorry, you scared me for a second. I don't usually encounter big strong men back in this section." She like pushes her glasses up.
I'm not here to scare you.
Is there anything I can help you with while I'm back here?
Are any of these good? I haven't read many of them except for the Heartwood books.
Are you? Oh, you're a fan of?
Is Mara there? Or did you leave her somewhere?
I don't think I left her anywhere.
Did you want to look for any other books, or
It's
are
up
you
to
there?
Mara.
with
Are you there?
Thaddeus?
I think I want to go restock. I need more rope and more ball bearings
Okay.
and stuff.
Okay.
I don't think I'd go into a bookstore with them.
So you want to look for rope and ball bearings?
So you like split off from her. Okay. I was just wondering if she was standing there awkwardly like.
Let me see how much ball bearings will cost you.
Because I used all mine on
I can
that
look it up if
big
you want.
giant,
Yeah,
and I've been
That was
using a lot
it
of
was a
rope.
good use of
That was the best
Oh
use
yeah,
of
and
them.
those.
Ball bearings cost 1 gold piece
Okay,
for
For-
1,000.
okay.
Let's see.
It's a lot.
And then rope. I think it's going to depend what kind of rope you want.
Yeah, there's like hempen, silk, and then magical ropes.
I just want the regular stuff that I've been using because I've been using it a lot.
Do you want a new one?
Well, it's probably getting all worn out. Plus, I think when I threw out the giant, I probably went with him.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So do you want a silk rope, a hempen rope?
The hempen.
Okay. When you're at the rope store, I don't know where you shop for ropes.
I imagine
It's
there's like a
called,
sailor supply.
Yeah, there's like a
Yeah.
sailor supply
Yeah.
store.
Rope Depot.
Rope Depot, yeah. When you're at Rope Depot, you discover that you can buy a silk rope for 10 gold pieces or a hempen rope for 1 gold piece.
At 50 feet.
But
Yeah, I already have silk rope.
the clerk also, when they see you're browsing rope, says,
You came to the right
Um,
place.
if you're looking for a decent rope, we've got a cool Thimblefoot product that just came in, if you're
Oh.
interested.
Tell me about it.
And he goes behind the counter and pulls out what looks like a metallic rope of some kind. He says, look, they tried to go for all, like, the ancient arcane naming structure that people went with this line. So it's called a rope of mending. And he takes it and he breaks a piece off, and you can see it just kind of pulls apart.
That's not the kind of rope we want.
No. He says, no, I know, just
I
pay
it's
attention.
fair, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I assume Mara raised the eyebrow too at that. He's like, no, just look. And he breaks off a whole bunch of pieces of it. And then he reassembles them in sort of a different order, and they knit back together. And then he says, but if you pull on it in a normal way, not like a ripping motion, and he pulls on it as hard as he can, and it doesn't come apart, you can break this rope into as many pieces of like smaller pieces as you want, and the material will just knit itself back together when you want it to.
Trying to see how that would be useful. But okay, we'll try it.
If you're interested, if you're not interested, that's fine. I mean,
How much is it?
this one I think will run you 50 gold pieces.
Rope Depot.
Look, we got a markup. The East Freight and Mercantile Corporation takes a cut of everything around here.
Do you have one half the size? That's a little spendy.
He takes it. He like pulls the rope in half.
Do you now?
25 gold pieces.
All right, deal.
So it's a 25-foot rope now instead of a 50
Okay.
one. But what you can do is you can cut it into any number of smaller pieces, and then you would use an action to not speak a command word, to just sort of like reassemble the pieces back together, and then they will knit back together and be a strong rope again.
Well, the cool thing is if you ever want
So I guess
more,
actually
you can
he
just buy
didn't
them in one
pull
foot
it apart, he
sections
cut it.
for one
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, that makes more sense.
Like I need 3 more feet, but you spend 3 gold.
Okay. Well, we'll test it out and see if we like it. I bet Hunter will like this as well.
The good news about it is it's extremely tough unless you're cutting it. You know?
Does it have the same strength as the other ropes, or like silk? Because silk is stronger than hemp, but
It's a pretty strong rope. It looks like it's made of some like metallic material.
I'm assuming it's stronger.
This is me trying to reskin a magic item.
I'm guessing it's like magnetic almost.
Yeah,
In the way that,
that
like,
makes more
you
sense.
can like pull it apart. It's like the way you can pull magnets apart, but it's really hard to like pull them apart that way.
hmm
Which way?
It is it's some type
Oh,
of specialized magnet.
Not this.
For sure.
Mm.
Listen, I'll take out my rare earth magnets at work and show you what I mean.
So that's what happens at Rope Depot.
Okay.
Back in the bookstore,
Mm-hmm.
she says, the clerk says, if you're a fan of Gloriana Hartwood, your timing is really awful. She was here doing a signing.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, not a
When?
month ago. Just about a month ago. At this very shop. And she like pulls out a book. Look! And there's a signature on there that's Gloriana Hartwood on like the front page of one of Gloriana's
Oh
books.
man.
How much is this copy?
She laughs. If you think I'd sell you a signed copy of one of Gloriana's works, you're insane.
Wow. At least you said a month, not 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
was thinking that too.
Yeah, unfortunately not many people turned up, but I got to talk to her, and she said she's working on a new novel.
When's it supposed to be out?
She said she had to do some research,
Mhm.
but that when she was done researching, she had the general plot, and she was just going to fill it in, and it would be pretty soon.
Wow. Well, in the meantime, is there anything you can recommend?
And she looks around.
This is the best part of the episode.
Ethan pulls out his notes about romance authors.
I'm so glad I made you have to do that.
She says, well, I mean, Gloriana's the best, but probably the closest would be Alice Rose Dancer. I kind of liked Tango with the Tabaxi. It's just
Oh
not...
my gosh.
When you've read a Gloriana, it's not the same.
I need something to fill the time.
Well, then, yeah, and she pulls a copy of Tango with the Tabaxi off of there, and it's got, like, a Tabaxi woman on the cover. And for those of you who don't know, a Tabaxi is like a cat person, so it's fur and, like, cat ears and the cat tail, but humanoid, standing bipedal.
Thaddeus takes it and like looks it over and frowns and says, "Has she improved since Waltz with Werkat?"
Oh my gosh.
Not enough.
Oh, the best.
Take it in. How much? That's
5 silver?
Thaddeus pays her.
I love it. We can just stop right here. I've
Yeah.
got my fill.
Alright,
That's all I need.
episode's over. See you guys.
Yeah.
1 hour episode today.
So good.
Oh my god.
So then, yeah, you guys would probably step out of the... Or you would have seen on your way here, I think, the airship. Probably since you were on the town at that point. So all of you have seen that. What would you like to do now?
I'm ready to get back to the... Or maybe not to go back, but to find the casino hotel.
yeah.
It's not hard to find. You can pretty much see it from
Yeah,
where you're at.
If we still had time, Hunter would want to go.
You guys are pushing time.
Yeah, I'd want to go to Thimblefoot, but if we don't have time, then we'll go to the casino.
We could go.
I'd at least want to know where it is, so if I had time later, I would go there.
Yeah, I think you can find it pretty easily, but like by the time you're getting out, it's late. Streetlights are coming on. Nightlife is starting to happen all around the town.
We can go tomorrow.
And
Fine.
you find your way to it, but the shop is closed. It's
That's
like
okay.
this. It's an Apple store, basically. You know,
Oh.
it's like all lit up in white light.
And then that means there's the glass everyone's going to see right in it, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like the glass at Cial's shop, that it's like one way though,
No, I
so you
get
can't
that.
actually
That's okay.
see it at this point.
Okay.
But it's got a big Thimblefoot Enterprises.
I could dimension door since I
No,
wanna
that's
take a
alright.
look.
That's alright. They probably have some sort of security measures like Seal did.
I mean, well,
Let's not make trouble yet. I said yet.
he said yes. Alright, let's go to the casino then. Sorry, Hunter, I didn't know that I would be learning how to make a new potion today.
No, that's okay. It's fine. I needed to make more arrows anyway, so we'll go to the casino.
I think that Mara and Thaddeus would get there first. And you said that you'd meet at like the restaurant portion of it, so
Did they let him in?
yeah, no one seems to question him at all.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll just walk in like I
Because
know
you're
what I'm doing.
wearing one of the East Freight and Mercantile
Yes, I am.
Corporation outfits,
Yep.
so yeah, no one seems to question you at all.
Are there more of them in here? Are they like casinos?
There's two at like
Security
the
as
front,
well?
and you see, roll a perception check.
I'm gonna disguise myself again before I go inside.
Okay.
Same.
Is
You didn't
disguise
wanna
self the
use
one
your
that's
new-
an illusion?
You didn't want to use your clothes and stuff that you got?
Oh well, that was just for walking around town, but because disguise self only lasts an hour, and I didn't want to cast it 500 times today.
Uh-huh.
But if we're going into the casino, I feel like the cloak is gonna look kind of shady.
Okay.
So I thought I'd just put on my
Sure.
my
Up to you.
disguise.
16.
16. Yeah, you see, there are actually some like tables of gaming that are set out that are actually being run by Warforged, and there are actually you can see several entrances and exits that aren't sort of main entrances and exits to this floor, and they do have like Warforged guards posted on them, and there's sort of like a high balcony that is sectioned off a little bit. And it has like dining tables and things like that. And you can see a couple people being served up there. Two of which are the Nightclaws.
Well, I haven't.
You haven't met them yet, but you would see those black-haired people with the red streaks. And they seem to be having dinner up on this high balcony and sort of overlooking the casino, which is just busy with merchants throwing their money at it. And so yeah, there are Warforged peppered throughout that seem to be doing like guard duties. And eventually, after a little bit of time, these two arrive.
We do.
I cast myself. And I look ready to spend money. Do I look ready to spend money?
Darling, you look absolutely wonderful!
Oh,
And
thank
you
you!
should spend all your money.
Oh, you're too kind.
I know I will.
Maybe you could start off by buying a darling a drink.
What would my wife think?
Oh, is she here?
The woman like right next to him is like, of course I'm here, darling.
Oh, you could buy her a drink too.
They just laugh and go.
Damn it. All right. I look around for Mara and Thaddeus.
So we show up in a fabulous
I'm like
fashion,
on my
apparently.
tippy toes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just see them and you're like,
Like holding on to
So you're all
Hunter's,
together?
like
yeah.
plate.
Dinner here is going to be expensive.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much though. But expensive. So you guys can talk amongst yourself while I figure out how much your dinner is going to cost.
So, how was your day?
Oh, good. I learned a lot. Hey, guess what? The eyes are here, just
What?
like I thought.
Where?
That
That is
behind
just like half out of his chair.
They're right behind you.
No, where are they actually?
Well, we saw them in that giant tower in the center of the town.
Alright, come on, let's go.
Sit down.
They're here.
We
have
just
to-
put in a food order. Will you calm down? We can't go charging into the tower. What do you think we did all day?
Wait for us, presumably.
No,
Kind of.
kind of. Look, we gotta be smart about this. I can't believe I'm lecturing you about being smart.
Well, I feel like when we get there, we're gonna attend an unusual party and meet someone important.
We just did that in Paradise.
I'm not really a big fan of parties after what happened at the last one we were at.
I just had some intuition, that's all.
It's a great big party in here, that's for sure.
Your meals are going to cost 10 gold pieces.
A piece?
Yep.
I don't
Have
know.
Hunter
Good.
take it out of the party funds.
I'm not sure that he's no party exists.
He may not, actually. We haven't really...
Don't. I'll just slap at you. Hunter,
Okay, and then I'll pay 30 gold.
you're not eating? Oh, you can't eat.
I can. I'm just incredibly messy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
None for Hunter. I
Yeah.
forgot. He
I don't know
doesn't
if
eat
Thaddeus
food.
ever saw him eat.
Doesn't eat
Whenever
food.
I have made it like a quirk that whenever he eats, he just like doesn't know how. He's like, it gets everywhere. It just gets everywhere. So he tries.
That
not
was like
to.
the first couple times, and then you decided like.
I just decided that he just can't eat. Like he's just not good at it. He just embarrasses himself.
So
the
and
good
I'm
news
gonna.
is, only really people who are staying at the hotel portion can eat here. So that 10 gold pieces also goes towards your room.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good, because we needed a room anyway.
So yeah, you guys
Can
do
I
have
see
a
the-
room in the hotel attached to
Is
the
it-
casino.
So
if you
is it
want.
all separate rooms? If it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
Well, that means I would need to pay, right? 40 gold.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
just eat your food.
Yes. Or I'll just try and embarrass myself, but I'm not going to.
So, can we see the night claws from where we're sitting?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're in sort of like a restaurant area, and then they are on a balcony above, overlooking the restaurant area. That is in and of itself its own separate restaurant area,
Okay.
and they seem to be having a lavish dinner up there as well. And
So,
this entire casino is just like, it's like James Bond level fancy casino. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the walls are gold. Yeah.
so those people up there on the balcony with the red in their hair,
I saw them. Yeah.
yeah, those are the night claws.
They had a meeting with the
They-
eyes.
Yeah, they apparently own this
So,
place, but
there's
they
some
were meeting.
connection.
They were meeting with a couple of IS members in the tower.
And that airship that we saw was
The-
shuttling in
Yeah,
some sort of
they
cargo.
had
The East Freedom
cargo.
Down there?
Yes.
Yeah.
They,
They
Since you're nobility, I don't think we would have a problem with an introduction.
I was thinking the same thing actually. Like out of character, I was like, that is an ability special features. Like you can get an introduction to anybody you want.
and I look like nobility, so
Shall we have a chat with Raven?
let's
With the-
eat our food first because that was damn
Usually
expensive.
here.
I think Mara and I will not win one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably. How was your day? Did you secure a boat?
Well, we have the
We
top
found
two.
two promising, well,
One's
one
more
and a half
expensive.
promising candidates.
And
One's more
I'm so
expensive.
excited to hear about Mantle Ring.
You don't even know.
I don't know, but I know. That's fine.
One of them was a filthy goblin man with a wretched boat. I'm not sure that we want to use him. The other was some friend of Mara's family, which seemed much more promising. She said she'd waive her fee
Oh,
if we took her boat.
that's nice. That doesn't happen to be the one with the really pretty, like, mermaid on the front, was it?
Yeah.
How we? You didn't even go down to the dock.
No,
Well,
we
you
saw
can
Oh,
the
that's
see,
right.
boats.
you see the
Oh,
banner
that's
We
show
right.
walked
That's
down
right,
with,
that's
and we
right.
saw the
Um,
boats.
Thaddeus lies and said I didn't notice much
Insight
about the
check.
boats.
That's a one.
yeah, you don't know. He seems serious. Though it is
Okay.
unlike Thaddeus to leave to like not pay attention to the details.
Yeah.
One point though, she didn't say she'd waive the fee entirely. She said
Just-
So,
Captain's
so
fee.
with I'm gonna message Thaddeus and be like,
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say.
I'm gonna like message Thaddeus and be like, really?
I got a natural 20 on my deception.
Oh yeah, he pulls it off.
A natural 20 versus a 1. You didn't even have to roll.
I know, my deception's really bad though.
Alright. Wait, so a friend of the family?
Yeah, she gave me some this little wooden chest that
Does it look
obviously
like this?
belonged to my mom. I haven't opened it yet.
Whoa. That's cool.
I don't think
Do you
I've
know
I've
her?
ever met anybody that's known my parents. I don't know anybody from here because I left so soon.
Wait, you're from here?
Apparently, that's what they tell me.
Oh. Weird.
Huh.
Wait, but you don't have any family here anymore? What happened?
My parents died in a carriage accident when I was really small, and I wound up in an orphanage here, but only for a short while. till my
Wait.
grandfather.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I heard that the captain mentioned your grandfather. He didn't take you up immediately?
No, he is a seafaring man, and he was out at sea, so it took him several months to come and claim me.
Oh, and that's why you
Grew up on a boat.
grew up on a boat and became a pirate.
Yep.
Wow, we're learning so much about Mara today, guys.
We've only been traveling for some time.
Well, that's cool. Well, are you gonna open your box?
Maybe later up in the room.
Oh, okay. You know,
This is a bit
if
public.
my mom sent me a box, I'd want to open it in private too. But mostly because there's probably going to be a letter in there yelling at me for leaving the tribe, and I kind of don't want to show that to you guys.
This isn't your box.
I know. Well, I'm just saying. If I understand.
I see.
I'm saying I understand. Anyway, should we go talk to the Nightclaws?
Are they finished eating?
Do you think we can get anything that way?
Well,
Do you have any spell you could put on them?
I'd certainly like to hear what they have to say for themselves.
I
but
do have spells that I could like convince them to talk to us, but I could also kind of assert control over one of them if things go bad, but I don't want to resort
well,
to
let's
that,
not
you know.
open with that.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's possible that the eyes made them off and they rebuffed it. You know,
Well, yeah. All we know is that you guys saw that giant flying boat that came in, right?
I wish you could have hired that, but
Yeah.
it's a bit out of the price range.
Yeah. Well,
Could always try.
it had stopped at the tower and it was unloading
Maybe-
cargo.
Maybe that's something. We'll go up to there, ask if the flying boat takes passengers, and see if we can work that into an angle about there. Did you say you saw the eyes aboard this boat?
No, they weren't. They didn't come out. I flew up there to spy on them. That's how I found out who they were. But they didn't really say anything about what the cargo was or
Since you were
what
up there,
the
did she see
meaning
any
was.
labels or anything on the
On
boxes?
the cargo,
Yeah.
fragile, this side up.
But no like shipping logos or anything?
No, some of them were like stamped with the East Freight and Mercantile Corporation.
How big were the boxes?
They ranged from like smaller boxes to larger crates.
And they all got unloaded onto the tower. I don't know.
Let's go and give it a try.
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
So I'm gonna go over to, I guess there's probably like a Warforged bouncer or something.
Yeah, there is. There's a stairway that seems to lead up on either side of this balcony, and there's Warforged bouncers on either one. And as you approach, they say, "Halt right there. This area is for authorized personnel only."
So that is Hammerlock and Retinue here to see the what do we call them?
Nightclaws.
The Nightclaws.
Present your authentication.
That is.
And sort of as you're holding it up, the Warforged takes a peek at it, but then it also looks up to the balcony, and you can see that you've drawn the Nightclaw's attention, and they're both of their like angled eyes are looking down at you.
I did a
And
smile wave.
the man just gives a nod, and the Warforged sort of steps out of your way and says, "You may pass."
I know. And that is walks up.
I know.
Trying really hard not to roll my eyes as I follow him. Really hard.
Yeah, and so you make your way up the stairs. It's a pretty long stairway. It goes up maybe 40 feet or so, up to this balcony. And there's only like 3 or 4 groups of people up here dining. But you can see that Warforged are already pulling chairs and bringing them to the Nightclaw's table.
Were they eating with anyone already?
Just by themselves.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that would be rude.
the woman with
I mean, that is rude as hell.
Yeah.
the woman with the multiple streaks in her hair is in the process of pouring 2 glasses of wine at the moment and setting them at the 2 chairs that are being drawn up.
Mr. and Mrs. Nightclaw.
They
No.
stand as you arrive. Thaddeus Hammerlock. I'm Mercer Nightclaw, and this
Sir,
is my...
that is Hamlet, please.
You're correct, I'm sorry. Sir Thaddeus Hammerlock, I'm Mercer Nightclaw, and this is my wife, Melissa Nightclaw. Have a seat, if you would. We've had our finest wine drawn up for you.
Thank you.
Nothing but the best for a duke, is it now?
As a very reason.
And they
And I'm gonna curtsy and I'll say, I'm Signy Whitecrest.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Is that who you're disguised as?
No, but that's that's the name I'm using.
Okay.
Like they're gonna know.
Yeah.
It could be, but no, I'm just disguised as some random person.
Roll a deception check.
Okay. So I was like, wait, what was her name?
Yeah.
She would make the most sense to be with you, though.
What?
Yep.
That's true.
I'm smart. Okay, deception check. Come on.
That's a pretty.
Yeah, 17.
17. Okay. Let me just check something here.
For the viewers at home, Signy Whitecrest is Thaddeus's betrothed. Ooh.
Please look at the chart that he made.
Yeah. See our
who
Twitter.
likes who or not.
They exchange a little bit of a look, and let me look up one more thing. Sorry, this is just important.
I don't like how long this is taking.
It occurs to me that I don't know
Then you guys turn and leave. You're
if
like, I don't
Harmony
like
would
this.
know who she is unless you would have told her.
I think probably some of that would have come out.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually.
They look at you for a
Didn't Harmony
second,
hear- I think Harmony did.
Probably, yeah.
and their affable nature melts away for a second, and they're looking at you very sternly. And then Melissa says, "No, you're not."
Whatever do
So
you
that's of
mean?
no matter.
Mhm.
Awkward.
We'd want to meet with you in any case.
I'll sit
You're
down and
people
like
of
just take a big gulp of
high
wine.
interest at the moment.
Oh,
Oh yes.
who's interested?
From what I hear, you've attracted the interest of King Orin himself.
Has Thaddeus heard already that? Yeah, like no, he wasn't there when you guys were talking. Heard about King Orin, right?
That
Oh, no,
was
no,
you.
that's us.
We weren't there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the captain told you.
That's right. Captain.
Yeah.
Also, so-
Yeah.
I was like,
And Thaddeus like stiffens up a little bit and says, King who?
Orin, it's, no wonder you haven't heard. It's only been a few weeks since his ascension to the throne. He replaced the late king
We all are.
when the king decided to retire, and he saw Orin fit as the High Wizard of the Assembly of Eight. Appointed him king over Freydin. I'm sure that you'll hear all about it when you go back there someday, soon.
Mm.
And there's a little bit of hostility in this soon.
Yeah. No, I get that. Said we have other destinations in mind first. I wondered if we might charter your airship.
Mercer takes over and he says, well, you'll excuse me for my rudeness, sir, but our airship is, of course, one of a kind, and we need it for our shipping purposes, so we cannot spare it for passenger travel at the moment. Now, where would you say you are going, perchance?
It strikes me that your airship would be the perfect way to get past the deadly fog surrounding the Elderhaven regions.
I step on Thaddeus' foot. Can
They
I
sort of-
can I cut you off actually before you? Because I knew you were going there.
Uh-huh.
Like to get past when I step on your foot really hard.
And Thaddeus winces a little bit, but keeps going.
Oh, okay.
Damn it.
Yeah, they sort of look at each other and say, I haven't the foggiest clue what you mean.
Come now, you live on Marblecleft Landing. You must know what I'm talking about.
Well, I've heard tales, of course, of a land beyond a fog that no one can reach, but it's fairy tales, correct?
Mm.
Can I insight them?
Mm-hmm, sure.
You're probably better at than me.
That's not great. That's an 11,
11.
I think. Yeah.
I think even with that, they're not hiding with it at all. They're toying with you to some extent. They know about the Elderhaven reaches. and that it needs to be reached by going through some black fog.
I'm gonna message
You've not-
Thaddeus.
Had a drink of your wine at all?
I'm gonna
Please.
message Thaddeus and say I
I
don't
had
think
ale earlier. It didn't agree with me.
I don't think this was a good idea. We should probably get out of here.
That is.
I'm saying it behind my illusory
You can
fan.
like respond to message, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that is. I completely agree with you. Make some excuse.
They see you getting a little bit uncomfortable, and they say, if you have somewhere else you need to be, by all means, feel free to leave. We won't detain you.
Do we have somewhere else to be?
Yes, I just remembered that my dog has to be let out to go to the restroom. If you'll excuse me,
Of course.
I'll just walk away.
Alright.
Let me check one thing real quick as you're walking away.
I don't want to stay in this hotel.
Well, too late.
Where the room's gonna be.
I kind of do though.
Kind of do.
Yeah.
I want to stay in
Um,
the hotel where that our enemies own.
as you're leaving Harmony, would you make a wisdom saving throw?
You get his bonus though.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You're get +4 to this.
I'm gonna use Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
Not better. Not better.
Gross.
So
7?
12. 7 plus. I was like trying to do math and then talk.
Okay.
11 and 13.
Okay. You feel a sharp jab in the back of your mind, as if something is asserting itself into there. And you suddenly are seeing like flashes of thoughts in your mind. Can you tell me? Let me see what I can get with this spell. I think they would want
My
to know.
surface thoughts.
No, they've already got those.
Oh, okay.
Something that.
I thought if they dig deep. Oh,
Yeah.
that was
every
what
time
the
they
saving
dig-
throw was for.
Something. Let's see. Something that you love, we'll say. That's what they're digging for.
Something that I love.
Mhm.
Hunter.
I mean,
Your dog.
Nazria.
Nazria. No. Seal.
So, okay, so as the probe is digging deep into your mind, you can't help but think of Cial's face, and as that image pops up into your mind, the probe retreats, and you're very aware that there was some magical effect assaulting your mind a moment ago.
I stopped walking.
What's the matter? Didn't you have somewhere to be?
I turn around. Which one? Can I tell which one casts the spell on me?
Not necessarily, but the one who said, "What's the matter? Don't you have somewhere to be?" was Melissa.
I turn around and I look at Matthew. Not Matthew.
Mercer?
Mercer. There were two reasons they went Matthew, because Melissa and my dad's name is Matthew. This is Melissa and also Matthew Mercer. Mercer. Look at Mercer.
Mhm.
And I say, I suggest you tell me what you want from us.
And you cast suggestion.
Yes.
Let me look something up. Check for wild magic while I'm at this.
Oh no.
Oh, it's gonna go off because I used Tides of Chaos.
That's true.
I didn't even think about that because I'm just so pissed.
Oh jeez.
What was your suggestion exactly?
I suggest you tell us what you want with us.
Melissa looks back at you, or no, it was Mercer you cast it on.
Yes.
Mercer looks back at you and says, I just wanted to have a drink with two very interesting people. and I'm satisfied in having done so. Now what happens with your magic?
31.
Oh, I don't know.
This could be either very good or very bad.
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Okay. Oh jeez, you're making me look up everything. this
Yep,
time.
that's our job.
Oh boy,
Wow.
what happened?
I have been waiting for
disappears.
this result since the beginning of the campaign
Because you had a plan.
because I have a plan for it.
Oh,
Oh, this sounds interesting.
oh, jeez.
And it's interesting it's here.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
because it's interesting that it's here.
Come on, floops.
Can I just say again how my favorite part of this campaign is the way that DM and our sorcerer just like talk in circles around each other about wild magic.
Yeah, well, because we both know.
Because we know what's gonna happen.
You hear, you don't see anything happen. Like, you feel the wild magic surge, and it's a big one. But you don't see or feel anything happen. But then you hear a voice in your mind, and it says, "You might want to get out of here. You don't know what you're dealing with."
I'm gonna look around.
Don't see anything. I can tell you more later, but you really want to get out of here.
Daddy, let's go. And I
Lead
just
the way, Siggy.
storm down the stairs.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, can I like thaumaturgy the shit out of this place as I'm going down the stairs?
Yeah, and there's like you mean like opening and closing
Yeah,
doors?
like
and-
like any effect that just comes to mind as I'm walking down, like thunder, going boom.
And there's like
the
screams and
windows.
shouts at first, but then Mercer stands up at the table and goes like this, and everyone in the room falls silent. And then you were just able to leave. If you want.
Dang.
I'm sure that catches our attention,
Yeah.
and we take
I'm
our
not
cue
happy.
to follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, you would have seen things like Harmony's gaze darken as she turned around to cast her spell, which didn't seem to have an effect.
Okay.
So you saw all this transpire, and it didn't look good.
Yeah. So we can't talk now, or everything is silent.
No, it's not like there's a silence effect. It's that everyone in the room respected that he wanted it quiet.
Oh, okay. Even though there's booming and stuff going
Yeah,
on.
so the only sounds in the room are just like Harmony slamming doors shut with magic and like
Okay.
thunderous sounds echoing out from her, things like that.
I'm gonna just go straight out of the casino. Straight out.
Yeah, let's head to the hotel.
Nope.
No?
I'm just beelining for that tower.
Oh, alright.
But not really thinking about it consciously, just
I mean, Didas is
In a
with you.
rage.
Let's just do this.
And then we kind of
Beelining.
behind.
But have we rested?
nope.
No?
We haven't.
You're going for the tower?
I'm just walking
Okay.
in the direction of the tower.
How hurt are you, Mara?
Well, not very much. I'm just saying for your spells and stuff. For your magic.
Could use a
We
We
rest.
should
Rest.
still rest. I'm just walking outside, and that's the direction I chose to go.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's as
Yeah,
far as
no,
I
we
go,
get it.
but
We get it.
that's where I'm going.
So we did not hear everything, obviously. So okay.
Yeah, you
Go-
guys would catch up eventually.
Yeah, it
So
didn't go well.
The minute I get outside, I'm like thinking. I'm just in my head.
King Orin? King Orin? We killed Orin.
Yeah, that's what I was
We
thinking.
carried his body to the Feywild.
Now there's this hunter's like, what? Yeah, we did. That's what they said.
That's what they said.
It's got to be a dummy. I mean,
A puppet, sort of.
Okay.
But of whose?
There was that serpent,
There was.
and I would know all about that serpent.
Mhm.
And yeah,
You think Orochi has assumed the place of Orin?
you guys could all roll Arcana checks if you want.
for what?
Just anything magical you could think of that could explain it.
Okay, I'll roll 2. I got a 10.
20.
Okay.
11.
1. Okay. Well, Harmony, it occurs to you that one possible explanation, not necessarily this is the explanation, but one possible explanation is that they did have
Oh, I know what it
duplicates of the
is.
king and queen before.
Yeah, it's
So that like melted
What's
into
that
snow
spell
when
thing
they were
called?
attacked.
So it's either a duplicate of Orin or what we killed was a duplicate
It starts with an S.
No, because if
Simulacrum.
Simulacrum. But I mean, I know. I think that's what it is, but I wouldn't know. I guess Hunter wouldn't know what it is.
So you know there is magic that could let someone pose as someone else.
Is that what you're thinking?
Well,
You said
Hunter
it started
doesn't
with
know.
an S.
I don't think I rolled one up, but
What would be the point
yeah, simulacrum.
of keeping a fake Orin on the throne?
Someone in the eyes, I think, doesn't want the rest of the eyes to know that Orin is dead.
Or maybe there was someone who was controlling Orin.
Harmony, you hear in your head that voice again. It's a good thing you got out of there. You really didn't want to mess with those guys.
I'll say in my head. Who were they? Actually, who are you? What's going on?
My name's Moloch. M-O-L-O-C-H.
It's not Rook. It's not Rook.
It's not Rook, no.
M-O-L-O-C-H.
And I'm someone who can help you. But I'll need a little bit of help in return eventually. And that's all you need to know for now. Those guys in there, they aren't what they appear to be.
Yeah, I pretty much got that.
They're fiends.
Oh.
A pretty
So
deadly
they
pair
saw
of
right
fiends,
through my
too,
illusion then, didn't they?
most likely.
As I'm doing this, I stepped away from you guys. I'm just like looking away so you can't see how. So you can't tell that I'm not paying attention to the conversation anymore. Sorry, what was that?
That is just blabbing it on and on about his fury.
Yeah.
He just says, yeah, they probably saw right through. But they're powerful ones. You wouldn't want to tangle with them.
What kind of fiends are they?
Rakshasa.
Oh shit.
Harmony, being of the Nine Hells, would know of these creatures. And they are quite powerful fiends. They are from the Nine Hells, but they're not bound to it the way a lot of other fiends are. And so they will go back and forth between the planes and usually set themselves up in positions of power or wealth where they can sort of be in the public eye in a good way and then hunt for mortal souls in their free time, you know, in the shadows. So.
Then
Cool.
Cial's in danger.
Cial. I don't know who that is.
I know. Why are you here?
Your magic brought me here.
Oh. I thought I felt something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the good news is, for the time being, I seem to be bound to you, so I can help you out.
But you expect help in return.
Well, yeah, that's the way things work.
Yeah, usually.
But
What
look,
do you want?
look, I can be really helpful. And you're just looking around and he's like, one of my top skills on my resume, I can turn invisible whenever I want.
As you are now.
I'm right behind you. You feel like a tap on your ankle. It's like down by your ankle.
I like look down.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, what?
And you can speak through minds?
Mhm.
Weird. Okay. How long are you going to be here?
There's silence and he's like, oh, right, you can't see me. I just shrugged. I don't know.
And what do you need? What do you need from me?
Well,
I know these kinds of bargains, they don't come cheap.
let's just say I fell from a position I once had some time ago, and I'd like a little bit of help getting a little revenge.
Revenge I can do, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna need more
I
details.
can tell, just by looking at you, that you're the person for the job.
Okay. Alright. My head hurts.
Okay, well, I'll get out of here. Maybe I don't want to be causing your head. But I'm right here. I'll be right behind you.
You could, like, sit on my horn or something if you want.
Okay, sure. And you feel like claws climbing up your clothes. And then there is a weight on the right side of your horn that sort of tips you for a second, but then you recover, and it's really not that much weight. So.
Okay. Do you, like, need food or something?
Nah, I'm good. I ate before I came.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Input something?
Yeah.
You thought you were freelance forever.
I know.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the wild magic?
She
That was it.
summoned an imp controlled by the DM within a space nearby her.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I have said from the beginning of the campaign, when she rolls this guy shows up.
I see.
I'm gonna
Let's-
turn around to the group and I'm gonna say, have any of you ever heard of Rakshasa?
I have a question for you too.
Okay.
You have detect fiends and stuff, right?
Yes.
Detect good.
Is it always on, or is it you have to cast it?
It's really trivial for me to do. It's not always on, but I can
Okay.
do it without much hassle.
Oh, that was just Zach asking.
Oh,
like-
yeah. Yeah, it's like I have a certain number of uses of it per day.
Okay.
And it's not even...
Because I wasn't sure if it was
Like,
like
I can cast a spell, but I also...
Yeah.
It's like a paladin ability.
I wasn't sure if it was like they're fiends and you just like,
Ding,
immediately
ding.
know.
No.
Okay, got it.
No.
Okay, cool. So I won't. I was
So-
curious.
I'll finally turn around, see where you guys are at in the conversation.
That is just saying, like... And furthermore, when we get to the hotel...
And I'll say, hey guys,
Yes?
Yes.
have any of you heard of Rakshasa before?
Have we?
Neither of you two would have, but you could roll a religion or arcana check.
Religion's not better. Actually, they're both plus 0.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
A paladin with 0
7.
religion.
It ties into football.
You learned about like the basic fiends, like imps
Mhm.
and things like that. But Rakshasa, they're a little bit more shrouded in mystery. It's not a word you've heard.
Nothing.
Well, they're bad news. And the Night Claws, they're Rakshasa.
Harmony, you
know.
rolled a high check to figure out what they were, right? Or did I even make you make a check?
No, the imp told me.
The imp
Right.
told-
Right.
And you didn't make me make a check to know what they were, though.
So what
because I
you
know.
would know is that I'm trying to look at the blurb about them and see if there's any info that you would also know. You would also know that killing them here won't do any good, because their souls will go back to the nine hells and reform there, and that's the only place they can be killed.
And once we kill them, they'll probably come back for revenge, so we'll never be free. If we do kill them. Plus, I think, well, maybe I won't say that. Just never mind. I don't know if it'll be smart to mess with them.
How bad can they really be? We took down Oren.
Supposedly.
And his...
It's,
I carried that body for hours.
Look, it's not so much that they'd be hard to kill. It would be that it would be hard to kill them permanently.
If Orin was a duplicate, when he killed, he would have shapeshifted into what he was, right? So it would have had to be
Right.
Well, the Orin we killed was the real Orin, right?
not the duplicate. Okay.
I mean, presumably.
Unless he has a duplicate who can cast spells like making himself vulnerable. I
Yeah.
think he must be real.
Okay.
Anyway, if we kill the Rakshasa, they'll go back to the Nine Hell. And they can, after they regenerate or whatever, they'll come back here. And they're shapeshifters. So we wouldn't recognize them, we wouldn't know. And they could just keep coming after us, or if they wanted to.
I don't like the idea of leaving fiends in control of the town.
Neither do
Moreover,
I.
leaving fiends partnered with the eyes of the world.
Neither do I.
Is this our problem to fix? Or do we want to focus more on the eyes and our map and our captain that we have
I
to...
think the eyes are our responsibility, but taking them out here or taking them out in their capital, what's going to have the bigger effect?
What if instead of going after the Nightclaws, we went after that one eyes you saw
In the town?
in the pack? That could break the enchantment.
We could dig a little deeper into that.
We could frame their own shots.
Like that.
As you're standing here having this conversation, you start to notice that occasionally a warforged will walk by and just look at you, and then keep walking. And then they seem to be walking around with increased frequency.
Maybe we better get back to our rooms.
It's really
Except
good,
let's all go to the same room, because I don't like the idea of us all being apart during the
Okay. Do you have any way to sense if there's some kind of spell or something that could listen into us, or
I could do a detect magic sweep when we get up to the room.
that's only good for like 10 minutes? Right? What if we went back down to the drunken clan and see if they have rooms?
Oh, that's an idea. We could sleep on board the what was the name of that vessel?
The one with the mermaid?
That is pretending not to know the name of the vessel.
The one with the mermaid?
Drowning kiss.
Yes.
The drowning kiss?
Hey, Ethan.
Why am I not surprised? Yeah.
I know.
When one of the Warforged comes by, can I, like, ask him how his work is going in the same fashion that they ask themselves for status updates and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just like walk up and you're like, status update.
Yeah.
He goes, request denied, and keeps walking.
Or do you just-
Let's head to the drunken clan and
Yeah.
tell Captain Constance Bolt that we decided to hire her ship and that we will require lodging.
Next time we go into a town, everyone's letting me cast my magic to disguise all of us.
I can see the usefulness of this. I
Just gonna start walking down toward the docks.
I think my problem was I didn't think that the news could have spread so fast, but I forgot it had been.
It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
And they have trains.
And they have trains.
And airships.
And airships.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go to the docks.
Okay, yeah. And Constance Holt says when you get to the ship, she's there and sort of is on the deck just looking up at the stars and twiddling that gold piece with the barnacles on it.
Mhm.
And when you arrive, she says, so I'm the guy? You're sailing with me?
You're the one.
All right. When do we set sail?
Well, we have a little business in town that we'd like to take care of first.
We do?
Thought we were going
We're
in
gonna
the
go.
tower,
Yeah, we're going to go investigate the town.
Okay.
but we need to
Tomorrow?
rest first.
Tomorrow evening, that's it.
Yeah, we
Alright.
should talk about this a little bit.
I'll be ready. If you can provide me with the finances required, I can set things up with the harbor master tomorrow to get us permission to leave the harbor.
Do you mind if we boarded your ship tonight?
Shrugs. Sure. There's plenty of room in the lower decks.
Better than the hotel?
How,
Yeah.
how,
I like
how
that.
much for the,
Ethan hasn't worked that out,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
but it's a hefty sum.
Okay. Alright.
All right. Well, in that case, I might actually go up to the taverns and get some of the sailors ready. Let them know that we'll be setting sail sometime tomorrow
Okay.
when your business is concluded. And then she stands up and goes back up the elevator. And yeah, you find yourselves down in the lower deck area of this ship. And you can sort of find yourself separate areas, or you can find a more communal
I'll
area.
stay up on the deck for a while, though.
It's a very starry night, and you can see lots of stars from here, so it's very pretty. Do any of you
So-
want to do anything before you sleep?
I would
What's the
want
plan?
to try and dissuade everybody from wanting to go into the tower.
State
What?
your argument, I guess.
Yeah, so once we're all together, I'd say, well, all the Warforged know that I'm not one of them. So we can be assured, I think, that the tower will be dangerous.
Yeah, and the
If they're
night claws can see through illusions.
yeah, if they're running the show and they're in control and they know us already, there's not much we can do here
That's true.
without putting ourselves in a lot of danger.
That's true. I mean, we could just camp out and see, or I don't know. If we figured out where the Eyes of the World guy is,
I'm guessing there's like.
a room in the tower somewhere.
I'm guessing he went underground.
Underground.
That's why he didn't come out. Or he's just staying there or something.
Or
Some sort of liaison.
we could infiltrate the tower when the night claws aren't there
Do we know when they're not there?
and look for evidence that will tell us what they're up to. Documents or letters or something.
I think that is just slowly coming to an agree with Hunter.
Well,
It's like-
so they, even without the Nightclaws present, their security knows all of us.
Well, yeah, but like, I could polymorph someone into something that could sneak into the tower and steal some documents, or we could go invisible, or there's a lot of options for sneaking in. We're not gonna just stroll right up to the tower.
So I think if we had a better lead about this being a place of interest instead of just going there out of because we saw one occurrence.
What if we sneak onto the airship? It's still on the dock, right? It's still docked.
Yeah, it's several docks down, but you can see, like the bronze worm, it is heavily guarded with Warforged, and in fact more Warforged than
More
the
Warforged
bronze
in the tower.
worm.
How many?
I mean, like, lots, like 30 or more.
I mean, what if
Just piled on top of each
one
other.
of you
There's
or
like just a stack of Warforged.
me is
I really
like
hope so.
polymorphed into a cat or a mouse or something? I mean, there's lots of rats on these things.
I forgot to ask about the rats on the ship. I'm sorry, Laura. I know that's important to you.
we
I'm sure we'll
could
find
grab
out
some
soon.
and bring them on board. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan.
You can also, while you're here, you can see that the Blueviat's Disgrace is docked a couple docks away, and the light is on, and you can see into the cabin that Mantle Ray is actually, he's like looking at a sea chart, and he keeps stabbing it repeatedly.
I love Mandalorian.
And you can see that there are, sitting on his deck, 3 other goblins that seem to be like huddled around some food or something like that, and they're sharing a meal.
That is just like shit with the things and stuff. I'm gonna go that way. So, like, just kind of, but like out of character. That is, I'm reviewing like the tenets of the Vow of Vengeance, and it says like, faced with the choice of fighting my sworn foes, the Eyes of the World, or combating a lesser evil, the Nightclaws, I choose the greater evil. So it's like, we really can't let ourselves get distracted here. And I think that's the argument he's making against assaulting the.
Yeah,
the
that's kind of what I'm thinking
MC
too. Is
power.
that like our current objective is to get to the reaches, and this is sort of a detour that I don't think we need to take.
I'm agreeing with you. I think.
Yeah.
Here's a thought. What about Kay?
Where are we supposed to meet Kay?
He told us to summon him before we go to the Reaches to return the artifact.
Didn't we have a way to summon him?
Yes,
Yeah,
I have a scroll.
Scroll of Sending.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Let's.
What if we summon him here and we tell him what's going on?
That
and
is
let him handle it.
That's a pretty good idea.
I'm alright with that.
Who are we talking about?
Okay.
This
Oh.
was this is before you, yeah.
Before your
We,
time,
I lost. Like I missed something.
we met a
We met a
vampire
vampire
in Redwater.
in Redwater named Kay, and he gave us a finger.
Yes.
Well,
They wanted us
Gave
to
him a
keep-
finger.
He gave us the finger.
He gave them a mummified finger, which is a powerful
Which is
magical
why
artifact.
Thaddeus was
Speaking of
joking
which-
about needing 2 more to make a full hand or something like that.
Where are you storing those fingers, and like how? I've been wondering.
Thaddeus has a pack. I think they're like, and I know that, and like I know that Harmony rifles through it all the time. So I think that particular finger is always on Thaddeus' person.
Well, I gave it to you
But
with
you
my
had
own.
it in like a bottle, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Did you
that's
put
right.
the other ones in the same bottle, or different
Oh,
bottles?
those two?
Yeah,
Are you talking about the artifact?
the 2 you took off of, because you took 2 mummified
Oh
fingers.
yeah, those
off
I
of
think are
4.
just loose in the pack.
They're loose in the pack.
Yeah.
They're like paging through your romance novel.
But yeah, so he gave us this powerful magical artifact and told us that we need to keep it away from the eyes.
and he's the one that told us to go to Farendale.
My question for you, Harmony, is: do you think now is the time to tell him, or since we're not actually going to Elderhaven, or should we tell him after we have the compass?
Well, we are going there. We're just
I mean, that's the
one
plan.
leg away, right?
Yeah,
Basically, he didn't want the artifact to go to the Elderhaven Reaches.
that's true. That's true.
And he didn't. He needed it off of him for a while, and we finished our. I mean, maybe he knows what's going on in Farendale now too.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm also gonna look at the dagger too and see if Mantis is around still.
You can see that it is nighttime in the cave where Mantis is staying, and the dagger must be propped up against something because there is like a book propped up in front of it.
Yeah.
That has scrawled across it. It's like a blank notebook.
Sure.
Has scrawled across it. Gone to Ravenmoor to investigate.
Right, yeah, I remember
Be back
that.
tomorrow.
Okay. I wanna like tape like a piece of paper says okay or something. Well, maybe not like that. I'll think of something else. But
So
I don't have anything right now.
let's assume you guys have a discussion and come to a conclusion about what you want to do, because we're running out of time.
Yeah. So
I
let's.
think we're okay contacting the vampire.
I can do that right now.
Do we want to do it on this ship?
I
Maybe
can
it would
do
be discreet
town,
enough.
too.
Huh?
I
I think it'd be okay.
on the ship.
Yeah.
I
was just
want to
asking.
find out what's in Marth's box, though.
What's what?
Yeah, I want to reveal that tonight too, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying to.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
So, are you casting a spell, Harmony?
Hold on. What was? I'm looking for my spell scroll communicate with K. So it's just a scroll of sending. So that's not necessarily like
Yes.
him appearing right away.
It's like a
It's just
summon.
me talking to him.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So yeah, I can do that.
All right.
And if you think that's
I mean, this is your plan.
yeah.
So,
I
what's
think
the
it's
message
appropriate.
you're sending specifically?
We can think about that if you want to do your thing.
In Marblecleft Landing, about to set sail for Kame Island and then to Elderhaven Reaches.
Got about 5 more words.
Please send food.
10 more words. Sorry.
10 more words. The eyes are here.
Okay.
Comma, need your help. Comma.
Okay. So you're 2 words short of your 25. And the message you get back after just a moment is, "On my way."
Is it in that voice too?
Yep.
Okay.
I kind of failed last time I introduced him, but Kay is kind of a cowboy.
Oh, okay.
And that's the way I meant to
Alright.
voice it.
Oh, okay. Got it. That's
On
good.
my way.
On my way.
Alright.
So then with that, with Kay on his way, and sort of a little bit of a plan formed, you guys take to rest in the hull of the ship. Mara, I assume you find a quiet corner to yourself for a moment to check out the contents of your box.
Mm-hmm.
And as you blow off the dust and sort of brush away all of the dust that was on it, and then pull off the lid, there's a variety of things in the box, and they're sort of stacked neatly. There's sort of like 2 sides to it. There's a right and a left side. And on the left side, there is a set of navigator's tools and a spyglass.
Cool.
So like a sailor's sextant and things like that. And there is a candle. It looks like it's like a blue candle, which initially doesn't seem very impressive. And then there's also a barnacle-covered gold piece.
Hmm.
Then on the right side, there is a set of carpenter's tools. And then there's a book, a like leather-bound book. And if you sort of leaf through it, you get the general gist you get is that it is a journal. It's your father's journal.
Aww.
And it picks up in sort of his late 20s or something like that. And he talks about how he met a beautiful sailor who sailed into town and was looking for repairs on her ship. And how initially they fought a lot, but eventually they fell in love and they got married. And there's stories about how eventually they, the girl got pregnant, and they had a daughter, and they named her Mara. And they talk. There's lots of stories about Mara's days as a baby, and like her first words, which were "mama." And
That's unusual.
Floyd, as he writes the journal, says that he constantly refers to little Mara as his little coral polyp. And then the story, he talks also a little bit about the family business and how Marion came to work on the shipwright crew with him as he built ships. And then towards the end, it mentions how a company called Thimblefoot Enterprises approached them with an idea, a grand idea, which Floyd and Marion agreed to help with. And how Floyd is sure that the partnership is going to make the Stormwind family great, and it's going to bring them a lot of wealth, and that he'll be able to raise his little coral polyp in a good environment. But then he also mentions sort of at the end of that entry how he feels like someone was watching that entire time the deal was being struck, and how it just has this uneasy feeling that like lingered with him. But of course Marion thinks he was being paranoid. And then an entry or two after that, the journal ends abruptly. When, of course, Floyd and Marion were thrown from the carriage and killed. Then, on the last two things, which are sort of buried under all of those things, one on the right side and one on the left side, are two gold banded rings.
Oh.
And that's where we'll stop for tonight.
Now I have to cry myself to sleep. I was gonna ask if I could work on something tonight. Enchanting.
Yeah, we can pick up with the
But-
rest of your evening, because I have a couple more things
Okay.
that will happen this evening, but that's where we're going to stop for now. So, thanks to anyone who watched.
Say hi to Emily. She was
Oh,
watching.
Emily, if you're watching, hello!
I don't know if she's still there, but she was.
We will be back next week, Monday, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. But if you missed part of tonight's episode and want to catch up, the VOD will be up immediately after. The video will be on YouTube Wednesday. All of our backlog of videos are on YouTube, so you can catch up on those. And we hope to see you back again soon. Bye!
Night.